Welcome to He's House, where we do a little bit of everything all the time, and it usually turns out right. This time, we're prepping for the blizzard, which may or may not be a blizzard, might just be some ice, but I have this is by my back door. That's firewood. I'm actually going to stack a ton of firewood right here. I've been moving stuff around on my deck so I have space. So I'm going to put a ton of firewood right there. I'm going to cover that with a tarp. And then I have some firewood here too, which I'm going to cover with the tarp. And I know what you're thinking, man, what are you in New York and you're getting 4 feet? No, we could get 1 to 8 inches, or we could get 12. But this is Virginia, and there's a good chance we lose power for several days. There's a good chance everything shuts down, and there's a good chance the kids don't even go to school this week. So we got a lot of work to do, because when we have no power for 4 days, we do have a generator, which I'm going to fill up right now and do a test run. But it doesn't power the whole house. It mostly covers my meat freezers and our mini splits, which are in 2 rooms of the house. But it keeps the house warm enough to survive, and it keeps our meat frozen, which is really the most important thing. So let me get over to the generator and we'll have some fun. So this is my generator. Like I said, it doesn't heat the whole house. I mean, power the whole house. It's 7,500 watts basically. It does 9,500 starting, but basically 7,500 watts. This is a backup. I usually run it off gas because gas is a little bit more efficient, gives it more power. But if I happen to run out of gas, which I have about 4 days worth of, this will run it for about 3 days, give or take, depending on how much juice I'm pulling off of it. So on hand right now, I have about a week's worth of fuel to get this thing by. But because it's gas, I can run to the store and get some more fuel. So I'm gonna get this started up. I'm gonna make sure it's topped off, and I'm gonna plug in some electronics to it to draw some juice for about 20 minutes. See how it works. All right, so the generator ran for about 15 minutes. I had a few things plugged into it. It wasn't pulling a lot of power, probably like, I don't know, maybe 2,000 watts peak, but it was running good. So now I'm gonna recheck all the oils. It looks good. I run this generator every month for probably 15 to 30 minutes. I plug different things in depending on the season, whatever I have. So it pulls juice, but that way the engine doesn't get clogged up. I also use stabilizers in it, the fuel, just to keep it healthy. But a lot of the bad reviews on this, they're like, oh, I went to start it in my power outage and it didn't work. These are crappy generators. Well, they're not crappy generators, but if you use ethanol fuel, your carbs are gonna get all gummed up and they're gonna be trash. So what you have to do is you have to run this all the time to keep those carbs clean. And you should put fuel stabilizer in it if you're not using it a ton, because that'll help keep the carbs clean. And the best bet is to use ethanol-free fuel, which is a little bit harder to find. If you have marinas near you, you can find it. Or if you just do a Google search on like a Facebook forum, most car enthusiasts will know where the ethanol-free fuel is. Because if they have a nicer car, like an older car especially, they'll be using ethanol-free fuel. But if you just let this thing sit for months with that typical crappy ethanol fuel that's in the gas stations, yeah, your generator's not gonna work when you need it to. Now I can't figure out how to get this screw plug back in. Take the gloves off. There you go. Just wasn't seating it right. All right, the oil's good. I'm gonna check the air filter real quick. Yeah, this is good. Like I said, I do this maintenance every month on this thing. I change the oil once a year, whether I'm using it a lot or not. I just like to have it, ready to go when I need it. Because if you have an emergency situation and you're out of oil, it's not gonna run. Your air filter's clogged, it's not gonna run. And if you just let that fuel sit in there for months at a time, it's not gonna run. All right, so this is good to go. I'll show you how this works for me. So I don't have a true whole house generator. As you can see, this is just a normal generator I got at Costco because it was cheaper. This cable here, which is 50 amp, plugs into the house here, and then I have a 50 amp fuse in my fuse box, and what I do is I turn the main power off, and then that opens a release which allows me to flip my breaker on, and then I can turn that on. So I have to cut power to the outside, and then this goes in, and so I can do 50 amps in my house. But it works great, and like I said, it doesn't do everything, but it powers most things. It keeps your house running. And you all might remember Santa's sleigh, right? Well, it doesn't have its plow on it right now, so I've got to go put the plow on it and check the oil in this too. It's going to be a fun weekend. Now, one thing we use this for, well, we do plow the driveways, but so that's our main road. I take all the snow from here all the way down, and you can't see it, but the other person's house is about right there. And we build a huge hill, and you can go from one neighbor's house here, and if we pile the snow right, you can go down his yard, across the road, through the other neighbor's yard, down his yard, across the main road, which is a private neighborhood road, so it's not very busy, and then all the way down to the pond. And it's a blast. It takes a lot of work because we have to push a lot of snow to get that to happen, but it's pretty fun, and the kids have a blast. And if it actually does snow, maybe I'll show you all that. All right, we got the snow plow. That thing is pretty heavy, so I'm using Little Green to carry it for me. That is a much easier way to carry it than trying to carry it myself. The thing weighs a couple 100 pounds. Let's go get this thing mounted. All right, so this is a Polaris 500 Sportsman. It's a 2005, so it's not that new. It's about 20 years old, actually. This whole kit came from them back in the day. It hooks up to this winch, and then it just slides into the slot right here. Pull the pin so this thing loosens up. Lift it up, slide it over, and then down in it goes. Maybe not quite like that. Worked good just a second ago. There we go. There we go. Now I got to start it up and loosen this. Actually, I can loosen it up without turning it on. So the winch is what controls the up and down. Then she's got a lever in here that'll help me adjust the angle of this blade. So now that's prepped. I got to fill it up with fuel. I did the oil change on it a couple weeks ago. So I'm just going to top it with fuel and add some weights to the back. So let me see. That little bucket right there, I have a bunch of like stakes and grounding rods. I'm going to put those all in there. It'll add about 75 pounds of weight to the back, which will help me get traction when I'm plowing. We also, when it storms here, whether it's ice or snow or wind, we lose a lot of trees. We live in a neighborhood that's been around since the 70s, and most of our trees are old and dying. And so the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start each of these up, let them run for a few minutes, and then top them off with oil and fuel, and get ready for tomorrow, because if trees start falling, we still got to get out of the neighborhood. So a little bit of everything all the time is quite true. In the middle of prepping for all the snow, just cutting some wood stuff, and I got assigned the task to put up the shed, which had 4 billion screws. But that's up now. Now I'm gonna go back to cutting wood. So I'll see y'all later. All right, so when I say overnight logs, this is what I mean. These are, I think they're like 28 inches. Anyways, they're also pretty thick. But when I put these on my fireplace for the night, 1 or 2 of those, and the fire will still be burning in the morning. And all I gotta do is throw some smaller ones on during the day. So I'm gonna head inside and get some food now. All right, well, today was pretty successful. Got the generator cleaned up. I got it tested. I checked the oil, cleaned the air filter. Let's see, what else did we do? We got all the chainsaws oiled and filled with fuel. I ran one of them to cut some logs. We got the snow plow hooked up to the four-wheeler. Got all the four-wheeler the tires and the air filled in the four-wheeler. Checked the oil in that as well. Let's see, checked the oil in the tractor, and we filled the tractor up with gas as well. So that's all good to go. What else did we do? I don't know. Oh, we built the shed. Didn't even plan on doing that today, but it just so happened that it came up and the wife wanted me to do it, so we built the shed. And now my kid has a place to put the bikes so they don't get snowed on. Let's see what else. We got some dinner, which was delicious. I hadn't eaten much all day. And it's, what time is it? I don't know. I don't have my watch on. But it's nighttime. It's snowing. We got about 1.5 inches of snow already. I've been having a blast out plowing with the snow plow, which is just my four-wheeler, which does donuts and fishtails while you're plowing. So that's super fun. But all in all, it was a pretty good day. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow. We'll probably build some ski slopes tomorrow. So my neighbor has a deck, and it goes down and it's flat, but if you put enough snow there, you can get from his yard across the road to my neighbor's yard. And then from there, if you add a little bit more snow, you can continue on into his yard, which has a really good slope. And then from there, there's a giant ditch. But if we push enough snow into that ditch, the kids can go over it and then down by the pond. And it's a pretty good slope. We have to park our tractors there so the cars don't drive too fast by the kids. But we'll park the tractors there, and then we'll have some fun. So I'm looking forward to that. But all in all, I think we're pretty well prepped for the Snowmageddon that's coming along. Started out where we were just gonna get ice, maybe some snow. Now we're up to 14 inches of snow. And because this is Virginia, who knows? We could get like what we have right now, which is about 2.5 inches. And then it could be 70 tomorrow. But if it's not, I've got some giant logs out back that go into here. This thing will hold about a 3-foot log. My splitter only does about 26, 28 inches. So that's what size the logs are tonight. But it's gonna be a good time. Hopefully we don't lose power. While we do have that backup generator, it's never fun to have to run only like this mini split in here and not heating the rest of the house. But I'm looking forward to this. I love the snow. I'm from Michigan originally. I've lived in upstate New York near Fort Drum. I've lived in Alaska and Anchorage near Elmendorf Air Force Base. And snow is wonderful. Like, I love the winter. I don't like the cold. I don't like the cold at all. But if it's cold and there's snow on the ground, it's one of the best times of the year, and I absolutely love that. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow, waking up, putting the kids on their sleds, making some hot chocolate, and having some fun. So I want to thank you for stopping by Heath's house, where the food is always fresh, the back deck is always open, and the goal for tomorrow is to build some ski slopes for the kids. So I'll see you around, and I hope you enjoyed the content, and I hope you stick around for a while, because tomorrow is going to be even more fun. See you later.